Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe classified SAW Viper semi-automatic weapon. That's what SAW stands for. And before the G.I. Joe people go absolutely nuts saying they don't even do any research, he's a heavy weapons, it's not a semi-automatic. That is what the original file card says. Go look it up at 3djoes.com and you can look at it and it will tell you that it says semi-automatic weapon. It really isn't that much to get mad about. But hey, it's the internet. We're collectors. Gotta get mad about something. Anyway, we're gonna take a look at this guy. We're also gonna compare him to the O-ring figure. Thank you to Johnny Reno, aka Cage's Customs. I don't have the weapons, but he did send me one of these, so we'll be able to compare him to the O-ring and see exactly how much they are alike. I know you guys love that type of stuff, so anyway, it's been a long time since I did a Joe review, almost 2 months, because nothing has come out. So anyway, here he is. He's got the mask. He's got the balaclava on it. He's got his machine gun with a saw on it, which I actually think is actually pretty funny. He has number 147 in the line here. We have another QR code that we know leads you straight to hell. Here's his attributes if you are so interested. And then on the back we have him holding it along with all his gear and then a couple of other little things right there. So we are going to get into this figure. From what I understand, and it's been a long time since I've read some of these comics, he's actually not an army builder. He was supposed to be an army builder, but there's only one SAW Viper that actually took out a bunch of the different Joes. But he was meant to be an army builder. That is why you see a second one there. And again, I think that's how the classified team wanted you, or how they made it, so there was an army builder. But we're going to take a look at him, and later on, when I do pictures, I'll have probably multiple ones up there. So anyway, let's get into this. You don't want to keep looking at this, but before we do, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classified video. And I'm hoping that I'm still in the algorithm because it has been so long since a classified figure seems to have hit the shelves, or shall I say gotten our hands. Alright, so he's out of his plastic prison, and as we always do, we like to look at the accessories first, and we'll first start off with this knife of his. Some nice detail on the handle. It's all black. That's kind of disappointing. I'd love to have some silver just on the blade. It's serrated on one side, just supposed to be sharp. Not too thick. Again, it's not real pointy like a NECA or Valaverse weapon, which is perfectly fine. These are rated for 4 and up. Got the little grip here, and it is not too flexible. It's obviously going to flex a little bit, but all in all, a decent looking knife. Here we have this pistol, and I do believe this is a whole new mold of a pistol. Looks very similar to one of the Marvel Legends. Quickly, not soft at all. It's got the extended magazine, which I love the look of extended magazines, but sometimes they're not the greatest for action figures, as in my opinion, they stick out too much. What looks like a built-in suppressor, or maybe it's just a short pistol. It's got the sight right there, a port for blast effects. You get your trigger guard, and I'm guessing he has a holster on him, so that should work. And then we have his machine gun. Now this is, in my opinion, what is supposed to be a saw. All right, saws are not made like this. They are actually held up, but they were just trying to mess around with it, make a little bit of it, make a little different, kind of like a Modus in some ways. All right, as we can see, it has a little warpature to it. It's stiff, but it has some flexibility. So unfortunately, it's going to be one of those things that we're probably going to have to heat up and straighten, but I have a feeling it's going to stay in the spot that it's supposed to, unlike some of the other classified weapons that we have. All right. That's me fumbling it around. Alright, so here's the handle. He's going to hold it hanging down, and then he's going to hold it like this, kind of like the original Roadblocks laser cannon that he had. So here's your trigger. It looks like you have the safety switch right there. Here we have a plug where you're going to plug the ammo canister into, if that's how you want to do it. So we got some nice detail up here, and then on the top, looks like it's kind of on like a rail system. This piece is just going to swing back and forth, like I said, to hold it. And I am glad they made it so it swings back and forth, because then your figure can be in different spots, right? It doesn't look like it. I'm not sure how well it stays in there. It seems to pop out fairly easy. All right. We can look at the barrel. Got some nice vents on it, and then it does have the port for blast effects, which again, this will actually work really well for having a big blast effect. All right. Then we have our ammo canister. At least I believe this is an ammo canister. All right. So if we take this here, we can kind of plug that right in there. And then you have the ammo canister, so he doesn't have to be walking around with this big chute if that's how you want to display him. Then we have the, man, I cannot believe how much anger this caused people, that they gave you this little bayonet chainsaw. Like, wow, you would have thought that they took things away and just gave you a bare bones figure. So anyway, it's going to plug directly into it. It also can be dropped it down, so you can you know, trim your hedges outside of your house. I mean, I'm sure around the Terradrome there are a bunch of bushes and stuff that need to be trimmed down, weeds that come up. So nice little detail. You can see the chains, the teeth that run completely around it. All right, it doesn't spin, so you don't need to worry about that. And all we're going to do is kind of plug this into it. Now, I don't know really what you can do with this. I just think it's kind of fun, and the fact that they make it so you can remove it. So if you don't like it, you don't have to have it on there. It's not that it's not that big of a deal. All right, here is his backpack. It's got the nice handle up here so he can carry it if need be. I'm assuming we can probably set it up. So you can set it up and probably have the ammo chute coming out here. The black just really makes it pop, and I've talked about this many, many times. When you have a couple different colors, now I'm trying to look at this. Yeah, it is painted. It makes everything pop. So look at all the detail here. You can see the way that it's kind of attached to it. It looks like he can, supposed to be able to, like where the handles look like they flip up, he would be able to carry it around. All right, and then you just have, let's say, a little zipper right there, some padding on it, and I'm assuming if you really want to, that is where you can plug this piece maybe into it, or maybe not. I mean, you do have a plug there. So what do I plug into that right there? Because it's definitely not for his back. So I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to plug in there, unless if this is going to be used for another figure. So they were already making it universal. Maybe he uses it here, kind of like a tripod. It doesn't really work now, does it? Anyway, there you go. It does have that. But again, nice detailed backpack, something different. I'd say this figure, maybe not the buck, but he is a new sculpt, or new accessories all around. And here is his ammo chute, all right, which I think looks pretty decent. And that we're going to be able to plug into the bottom right there. So slide that ammo right in there. And then we're just going to remove the ammo box, and we just kind of plug that right in there. So you can kind of do whatever you want. Again, your figures, no one's taking them away, no one's going to take them and say you can't play with them because you play with them wrong. They're toys. And then we have his helmet here. It just has this nice green visor. You can kind of see the green visor right there, along with this purple. Nice design right up there. All right. So, and on the back we got, look at this, a little bit more paint. And he has that type of slit right there. But we'll look at that figure in a bit once we get to this figure. So here we go. Now, looking at this, it's a lot like tripwire. So he is really protected. He has some gauntlets up here. I'm not a big fan of gauntlets. I'm sorry. Shoulder pauldrons and gauntlets down here. Now, if you pull these things off, I can already tell you're really starting to get the classic looking saw viper. All right. So, popping this bad boy off. It's made so this is supposed to be able to move around, and this is supposed to latch onto it. All right. It's supposed to latch right onto it so you don't have to worry about it, or he doesn't need to worry about it coming off. All right. It's got the nice microphone underneath. I think that's a nice detail right there, because how else are they communicating? But now we're actually seeing something like this. The eyes look good. Kind of. Let me pop these glasses off and look over. No, I guess they look straight. Sometimes on the camera, sometimes they look like they're maybe looking up or side eye. It doesn't look like he's looking side up. It doesn't look like he's looking side eye. When I look at him over the phone, in the camera, it definitely looks that way. So, all right. So here we have some nice little detail. I love when they put the little clasps here, and just this paint here really makes it pop. And you got the Cobra symbol right there, along with a bunch of other pouches. He's got the green belt buckle. Why would you have a green belt buckle? Well, we'll show you in a minute. And here we go. We can see the belt loops that are going to go all the way around, and the knife is going to sheath in right in the back. Now, I love this look. When they put the sheaths and the knives on the back of the vest and stuff like this, it is not good for figures that are sitting down, especially in vehicles. So, but the pauldrons here, I don't know how well they're going to stay up there. That's very frustrating. With any of the pauldrons, I'm not a big fan of them, but with this guy, I think I might leave at least one of them on. And then we have the gauntlets. Trigger fingers. He's got some protective gear on his thighs, on both sides. The black underneath here. And then some shin guards. Alright. So, let's look at his articulation. Now, he does have this big old vest on. So, as we look at this here, even at the back there, it's got some protection right there. But with it broken apart here, he should be able to move a little bit more. So he can look down that much and look up, which isn't very good. I really wish they'd correct this. They had it right for a while. He can look side to side, kind of shake his head. With the pauldrons on, he's not getting the greatest T-pose. These really have to be dropped down to get the T-pose. So there we got our T-pose, but now the pauldrons are off. You kind of got to push them up, and they will work as long as you have them up. Someone did ask who's really sitting here in a T-pose. I don't know. It happens. Bicep swivel. There you have your pinless double elbows. This looks like it's going to get in the way. Then you have your wrists that are going to swivel back and forth. There we go. He has an ab crunch, from what I can tell. But he's only going to be able to move so far because of this. But with them breaking this apart, all right, it really changes everything. He does seem to be a little loose around the waist. So not the greatest with how he's loose. But we've had worse figures, and they'll probably stay posed perfectly fine. It does look like he has a nice cup on. There's your thigh swivel right there. Double knees. And listen to that ratchet. I talked about this on the last reviews that I had done. With the HasLab figures. And ooh, that one's tight. They seem to be having, not having, but seem like added ratchets, which I didn't remember the ratchets before. All right. Drop down hips, and there's this Jean-Claude Van Damme. You're only going to get so much because this piece is definitely in the way. So, it looks like there is no boot cut. Wow, he has no boot cut. And am I missing that the ankles don't So you just have these ankle rockers. Well, I thought they would have at least made the ankles twist. This will actually take away a lot of your posability, a lot of the articulation. They'll still be able to pose them, but that's disappointing that I have no... Usually they hide it underneath here. That's what they did with Shipwreck and Dock. That's very unfortunate. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw the mask on him. And I'm specifically leaving this off because we're going to compare him to the O-ring. So here we can kind of grab the O-ring, and as soon as we look at him, he has that little, it's more of an arrow on the O-ring, and it has more of a weird looking visor that goes around, but it has the green, the purple, and his mouth is showing. Now he's wearing a balaclava, where here he just has a chin strap. Probably something that they will address if they do a retro version. And then even on the back of the helmet, even though it does look different, you can see it's running these little slots. This one just kind of goes all the way around. This guy really looks, he reminds me a lot of Lobot from Star Wars. On the back, you can see the padding that runs right across there. They didn't give him the extra, or he has extra padding on this one. It looks like some sort of Kevlar. And then on the front, he has 4 pouches, the same as before, and then the same triple fat goose looking, jacket that they have. If you know what triple fat goose is, go back and look. You'll probably remember that. Does have a Cobra logo that they added, and then you have the green belt, buckle, and it has a very similar. Looks kind of like a chevron. This looks more like Wonder Woman's logo, and that looks more like a little chevron right there. This one does not have a cup, but it does look like he was wearing some sort of thigh protectors right in here. So they kind of recreated it, make it very similar, and even going all the way down to the shins, they put the little slots right there. All right, so for the most part, they recreated this figure. Now, it looks like if I take off the pauldrons and the gauntlets, you're going to be able to have a more classic looking Saw Viper, which I know a lot of people like. And I have a feeling this is already looking forward to them doing a retro version. So now let's kind of arm this guy, see how he looks, see how everything goes, and how well does he actually hold this machine gun. But we want to fully arm him up here. So this looks like he's actually going in to dispose of a bomb. I can't say that I really like that for the figure, but it fits pretty well. I would say that this is designed pretty well to sit in that groove, and these little pieces here really do add to it, where it's made so it can't be just kind of ripped off. Backpack fits on nice. Got the pistol that slides directly into the holster. And you can see what I was talking about with the magazine. It just really sticks out. And then we're going to kind of double whammy that with the knife. And now it's just going to kind of stick out. Again, figures are plastic, so they don't move like a real person would. But that is where people tend to hold their, not hold, but carry their knives and stuff. So as we can see here, it actually fits in his hand really well. And as long as this is moving, I think that we can probably pose him. See, this is going to be very problematic. I feel like this should have gone through a little bit more. So, and I like to show people how difficult it is to pose these figures when you get them. And as much as it works, to get this to look up, because you definitely want to be firing not just down at the ground. His head does turn. Well, I guess that works. Then we can kind of throw this saw on here. Does that have a peg? Like, this doesn't have... I'm wondering what that peg goes to. So, oh, you know... Is that what... I think Roadblock may have come with that. And this is actually for the tripod for the Roadblock. So, if someone is already in the comments, I believe this is Roadblock's... Roadblock and tripwires. So, there he is. It's actually pretty easy to pose him. Kind of weird looking. Also, kind of fits. So, but you know what? Since I have you guys here and you've stayed this long, let's quickly, since I have a second one here, let's rip them off, not rip them apart, but let's take off these pauldrons and the gauntlets. So easily those hands just came right out. And now, once we drop this on them, and I guess, you know what I totally missed was the original S.A.W. Viper actually has a mic right there. I never had a S.A.W. Viper, so this is really the first time I'm looking at them. Like I said, Johnny Reno sent them to me a while back, and I haven't really got around to looking too much at them. So now when you pop this on here, this looks like this looks like a Spaceballs helmet. I know that they didn't have like the masks on top. They were open, but it looks like a Spaceballs helmet. How many assholes are here? Surrounded by assholes. Anyway, here we go. So you can kind of see they did a pretty good job of recreating the O-ring version, putting the maroon or the red right here on his forearms. His gloves are actually painted. They didn't give him the Ultimate Warrior armband there, but you can't do that. You can't recreate everything perfectly. But if they do a retro, they already have the base along with the Spaceballs helmet, which it looks really weird. I'm not gonna lie, the Spaceballs helmet looks really weird. Anyway, I think it's time to wrap this up. I don't know what else there is to show you, but there you are. That is the Cobra S.A.W. Viper. Man, I see why I go so long. Alright, so there you go. That is the S.A.W. Viper, and I gotta say, I haven't done a classified review. I've been doing these G.I. Joe classic reviews, the O-rings, and they go pretty quickly because there's no opening. There's no really showing too much of the articulation. I take a lot longer when I do these. But thank you for sticking around. It's a good looking figure. The helmet is... maybe it's going to grow on you. But now that I mentioned like a Spaceballs helmet, that's all I can see. But with a visor, yeah. But anyway, there you go. That is your S.A.W. Viper. What, number 147? Can you believe we're up to 147? Well, actually up to 150 and more that are coming. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Please, there you go. It's been a long time. If you like this video, or even if you don't like the video, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe classified video. Now I'm going to leave. I'm going to get out of here, but you don't want to go anywhere. It's been so long. You're like, you know what? What was the last things that you did? Well, you know what? Here is the Dragonfly, and here's a playlist of all the classified stuff that I've done. Take care.